Hi everyone and welcome back to National League Lowdown with me, Dan. We've got a special transfer roundup for you. It's been a little while. Obviously the last one we done with Hayden Muller was my bad. I'd been on night, pressed the wrong button, so you only got the audio. So that was on me. So we haven't seen you now for maybe a couple of weeks now. So we're all back. We're going to cover some of the best transfers that's happened. Craig, how are you, mate?
Very, very hot, mate. Absolutely sweating. About 35 degrees here in Braintree today, so it's absolutely roasting. But yeah, just like the temperature, the transfers have started hotting up the last couple of weeks as well.
How long have you been sitting on that line for?
I thought about that 10 minutes ago, and I was like, I'm definitely using that.
I like it. Mark, how are you, mate? You all right?
Aloha, everybody. What a smooth transition that was. Oh, Craig's turning into the Des Lynam of the podcast here. But yes, Scorchio, it's been rather warm. But here we are to warm the cockles of your hearts of all things transfers. I'm sorry I haven't got as good as excuses, Craig.
Warm the cockles of people's hearts. I don't think we've ever been described as that as a podcast, so that could be a new one.
No, and I doubt we ever will, so we might as well just get it in,
Definitely. Louis, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, been a long time. Started to miss it only slightly. But yeah, looking forward to this. Lots of transfers, lots of roundups to go through.
Yeah, definitely. Just before we go into them, just want to say, I don't know if you've noticed, but when Sutton was signing everybody, Louis couldn't wait to do one of these transfer specials. And then now they've kind of slowed down on signings. He hasn't been as hot on it. Strange, isn't it? Strange.
Yeah,
No comment.
not a coincidence.
Yeah, there's been one team that's been a little bit busier now, hasn't there, Dan? Well, I think we see that in your picks for this one.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, Aldershot, I think, isn't it? You're on about? I think they've signed about 55 players and taken a leaf out of the book of Forest Green.
I was going to say the new Forest Green.
But yeah, we'll get straight into it anyway. So as Craig alluded to, my first one is Miguel Azeez from Morecambe to Carlisle. Now, I have a few, points on this. So I think he's 23, come through the Arsenal Academy. I think technically a good footballer, likes to tackle, likes to get forward, scores some good goals like we've seen last season. Some question marks over work rate, temperament. I remember us being on here talking about one specific goal, but I think it happened a couple of times where he wasn't tracking back. He was giving the ball away in bad areas, things like that. So I think there's good points and bad points. I think if Rob Elliott can coach that out of him and get him to work a bit harder for the team, and obviously you've got to remember as well when he was at Morecambe, he was at a bit of a basket case as well where they were under Ashtravel Singh for so long, and it wasn't exactly the ideal environment for him. I think coming into Carlisle, I think the midfield is a massive issue. Not spoiler alert, another one of mine is a midfielder. We needed to address that area last season. We were so cut open against the better sides because our midfield was weak. Compared to the other teams up the top, you look at the Boreham Woods, the Yorks, the Rochdales. Our midfield was poor compared to theirs. And then obviously when Alex Gilliard got badly injured as well, we were really lacking, especially going into the playoffs. So I'm pleased to see Carlisle's addressing this. I think for me, it is a key area of the pitch anyways. Like we always say in midfield, the battles, can win or lose your game. I think with Azeez, put him with the right partner in the midfield that complements him. And Elliot is the right the manager, the coach to, potentially help him with that work rate, with the temperament, get him to get, the best out of him. And hopefully we can see the best of him. Like I say, there is some supporters out there that were a bit like, I'm not so sure, just because of things that I mentioned. But I think we do have to give him a bit of leeway thinking about what Morecambe were like. It wasn't the best environment. Some players just need the right coach, the right environment. So hopefully Miguel Azeez will do that with us. But I think the key part for me is that Carlisle, for the first time in a while, have identified in the transfers that the positions that need fixing. And I think for me, the midfield was the first one. Obviously, we've got other positions we need to fix as well, but they've gone right to the weak point of the team straight off the bat. So I'm a big fan of this one. Next up, Mark.
Yes, we've got Callum Howe, the new signing for Scunthorpe from the champions York City. It has been mentioned on our Twitter feed that we haven't gone on about Scunthorpe transfers, but then we haven't been able to cover everybody, you know. So, but this one was a big one because it is a championship winning captain, vastly experienced at 32 years of age. But, you know, in this day and age of all the fitness of players, you know, people can go along quite nicely even at 32. They did get rid of Andrew Boyce. He's now gone to Worksop. So, but in terms of getting somebody there who can lead the defensive line, ideal partner for Will Evans. Callum Howe is your man. He's got what it takes. Yeah, and he played 28 games last season. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, you look sometimes at York's bench and he was always there, but, you know, 28 games and 1 goal, you know, so he did have a very good, you know, spell playing in the York first team. But now, as I say, with Andrew Boyce departing for Worksop, he will be the mainstay. It wouldn't surprise me if he became captain as well, because I believe it was Callum Roberts who was captain of Scunthorpe before he left. That's up for grabs. You'd do far worse than not to give it to Callum Howe. As I say, a born leader, a winner, and he's also got the distinction of having his brother Declan Howe there as well. So, yeah, a very familiar player already there. You know, we've been familiar with him from birth, and if both brothers would like to come on the podcast, here is the open invitation for you. It'll be a first for us anyway, but yeah, definitely one of the better transfers out there. And Scunthorpe, yeah, they moved quickly for him. They had to, and they've got a real defensive rock now in the centre of that defence. Craig, is it you next?
Louis.
Yeah, Craig Louis sounds the same.
So my first signing is not a Sutton player, but it is a former Sutton player. So Joe Kizzi, who's moved from Barnet to Hornchurch. So obviously Hornchurch just come up to the National League after winning promotion through the playoffs in the National League South. When you look at them last season, not the strongest defensive side, considering that they did get promoted. They were 12th in the National League South for goals conceded, with 1.4 goals conceded per game, and they were 9th in the National League South for clean sheets over the course of the season, 13 clean sheets in 48 games. So some defensive instability there potentially going into the new season was somewhere where they looked at they need to rectify and improve on. And obviously Harry Gibbs and Josh Hare have both departed as well. I think it's a combination of moving to full-time football for Harry Gibbs in particular that has led them to leave Hornchurch. So some gaps in their defence that they needed to fill. And I think Joe Kizzi is a very smart signing in that sense. He's made over 150 appearances during spells at Barnet and Sutton, predominantly all of them in the Football League as well in League Two. He was part of the Barnet squad that won the National League title in 2024-25, so it has that bit of know-how, potentially that experience of what a successful side could be at this level. I'm not suggesting that Hornchurch are going to win the league, but they are an ambitious club. They've obviously moved full-time, so they're going to want to do more than just finish fifth from bottom. I think they want to look up the table and maybe emulate a Tamworth or a Wealdstone in that sense as well. And looking on his time at Sutton, he was one of our most consistent and reliable players. Versatility, he could play at right back or you could play at centre back, which is a huge thing for the size of Hornchurch, a club the size of Hornchurch. Being able to have someone that can play 2 different positions can maybe loosen up the budget for other areas as well. He's a threat from set pieces. He got 7 goals for Bromley in the 2020-2021 season in the National League, and he got 6 goals for us in our first season in League Two as well. He always scored a lot of headers from the back post. I think it was, if I remember them rightly, wins duels, hard worker, gives it all, a very determined individual. I think he's a very good signing. The only caveat is whether he stays fit. He's had a significant back injury during his time at Barnet, only made 32 appearances across the 2 seasons. He did play a couple of times this season. I know he scored a brace against Crawley as well, which turned the game around for them. So that's the only caveat that I would say to them. But I think he is a very reliable player, extremely experienced, knows the league really well, knows the league above as well. And it's a smart piece of business for Hornchurch to pick him up on a free transfer with that versatility as we've spoken about. So good signing for them, I think. Craig, your first transfer.
So from one National League winner with Barnet to another, I've got Anthony Hartigan, who's joined Southend United. For me, this could be right up there as signing of the summer. I think he's an excellent addition not just because he's been there and done it, as we've said with Barnet. He was part of that Barnet National League winning side. He actually played in every single league game that season, and he got 2 goals and 10 assists from midfield. So he's got that know-how, that experience. And alongside their signings at the moment, Josh Poplar was obviously youth, inexperience coming up. Darren Alderker coming down. I think they're getting a really good blend, but I think he's the gem that they've got so far. 32 League Two appearances last season, just the 1 goal and 2 assists from midfield, but he's hitting 26, and we've talked about players' peaks, and you'd argue for a midfielder that's probably around the 26 mark. So he'd be looking for a real steady run of games again, probably the same kind of numbers as he got in that National League winning season for Barnet. And if he gets them, I think they'll be in a really, really good position. As you can see from the picture as well, he has worn the captain's armband on occasions as well. So he's bringing a sense of leadership to a squad that has been kind of torn apart this year. So they need new leaders in there. They need people to step up, and I really think he's got that. He also played 150 games for AFC Wimbledon, including the 118 in League One. So for his years, you'd argue he's going to be an experienced pro in there. A very, very, very good addition. And like I said, I think we could look back in May, June time as potentially top 5, if not even number 1 signing of this summer. So yeah, a really, really good player I'm looking forward to seeing. Dan, back to you.
Yeah, my second one is Kennedy Digie from Tamworth to Barrow. Now, I've said on my TikTok and to a few people, I think Barrow's a bit of an unknown entity next season. They've come down, no one really knows what to expect, but I think their business has been spot on. I'm a big fan of Adam Murray. I was talking about him getting the Carlisle job at one point, so I think they've got their business right over the summer in terms of manager and recruitment, and this is one of the standout ones for me. 29 years old, one of the standouts for Tamworth in a side that has punched probably above their weight in recent years in the league, picked up big results. I remember last year they beat Boreham Wood, they beat Carlisle, I'm sure they beat Forest Grit. They beat a lot of the playoff chasing teams, so they are a good side. He got 5 goals, he's a threat from set pieces, good on the ball, good defensively, and he's spent I think all of his career, if not majority, in non-league as well, so he's got that bit of experience of knowing what, like, because I think there is a difference coming down from the EFL into non-league. You need some experienced heads that have done non-league, that know what to do, know the right, way to go about things. And I think that's what Barrow have done, signing Digie, Alex Reid, players like that that know how to get the job done in this league. So I'm a big fan of this one, and I do actually think Barrow could do potentially quite well next season because of the business they've done, because of the manager they've brought in. And I think for me, when you are coming down, I speak from Carlisle last season, the best thing you can do is sign players that are proven in this league and try and get you back out of this league, and that is the best way to go about it. So that's why I picked this one. I think it's one of the best ones. Louis, what's your second one? Sorry, Mark,
Going to Mark
even
next.
getting confused.
There you go. Yeah, and we continue with the Barrow theme. Oliver Crankshaw, one of my favourite players from last season. He's moved from Altrincham to Barrow, and following on from what Dan has just said, you want to get out of this league, you sign the players good enough to get you out of this league, and Oliver Crankshaw is definitely one of those players. 28 games, 9 goals for Altrincham. Some may argue that his knee injury does hamper him a little bit, but when he is absolutely on it, he is on it. Again, vast experience for a player who's not even reached 30 yet. I think he's 27, 28 years of age, but he's had the experience from Bradford Park Avenue, Stockport County, and of course Altrincham, who will be pretty loath to have lost Ollie, because now that is a big gap in that Altrincham side, and they're not exactly rolling in transfers at the moment. But Adam Murray is really building a hell of a squad. As you say, Alex Reid, Kennedy Digie, George Clark, I think it was, from Kidderminster, because he wouldn't be signing any players from there. Yeah, Crankshaw, absolutely outstanding. Right foot, he can play on the left or the right as well. And he gives Barrow choice. Anything that needs changing in a game, if he can go from the left to the right, this guy is is something special. I just wish that he hadn't had the knee injury that he had. I mean, who knows where he could have been by now if that hadn't happened. But we get to enjoy him in this in the National League for another season. Barrow fans, will look forward to seeing some great skills. He can score goals. An old-fashioned winger. That's what I like about the guy. That's why he was one of my favourites, and I think under Adam Murray, he will excel at Barrow in a very, very new team. So there we are. Good old Ollie Crankshaw. Louis, my feathered friend, what you got?
Yeah, so I think I'm on some kind of drugs because I've chosen two Aldershot players in our last two podcasts when we've done special transfers, given how people have slagged them off a bit. But no, I think Marcus Dinanga, nicknamed the Bear, had a number of options going into National League clubs according to Scott Davis. But I think this is a really shrewd piece of business for them. And I think the context to behind the scenes for this is key. Aldershot last season, ninth in the league for goals scored, 1.5 goals per game. But when you look at the summer that they've had so far and you look at their top scorers from last year, Ryan Hill was their top scorer with 9 goals, moved on to Pennybont out in Wales. Charlie Warren got 7 goals, went back to his parent club, Bolton. Kwame Thomas got 7 goals, released from the club. Gandor, 5 goals, released from the club. Josh Barrett, 5 goals, moved to Dorking. And Sean Patton was recalled by Reading in February as well and had 5 goals to his name. So their entire top scorer list is completely wiped out over the summer, which makes this signing the most crucial one of them all, I think. When you look at his previous clubs that he's played for, Altrincham, Kidderminster, Dartford, Gateshead, and Bromley most recently. But I think the most relevant spell here is his time at Gateshead. He got 7 goals in 18 games during the 2022-23 season. I think he came in around January time, if I remember correctly, and had a really big impact. And then the following season, got 20 goals in 42 games during the 2023-24 season. That was the year that Gateshead won the FA Trophy as well under Rob Elliott. So some cup success for him as well in that sense. And I think that's the crucial thing there is that he's proven at this league that he can score goals quite regularly. I mean, nearly one every 2 games is an outstanding record for this level. He wasn't a regular at Bromley. It was a mixture of injuries and maybe slotting down the pecking order with Michael Cheek and Nicky Kambamba there at the end of the time they won the league too. But 32 appearances and 4 goals for the Ravens in League Two, and was obviously part of the squad despite not playing as much, that won the League Two title as well. So he's got title win experience as well. Similar to Joe Kizzi, it's exactly the same thing. If he can stay fit, I think this is a very, very smart piece of recruitment from Aldershot. They've obviously targeted a lot of areas given the amount of players that they've released, the amount of players that have moved on. I think it's 17 or 18 signings they've made now. But if he can refine that form that he had at Gateshead, where he was banging goals in for fun under Rob Elliott, it could be a very, very smart piece of business for them and could have the same impact that Aaron Blair had at Eastleigh this season. We've spoken at length about how Aaron Blair basically kept them up single-handedly. Marcus Dinanga could have the exact same impact for Aldershot and could be crucial to them staying above that dotted line. It's not, I put my neck on the line. It's not looking positive for them now, in my opinion, to stay up. But I think he's crucial in making sure that they do have a successful season and keep above the dotted line. Craig, your next signing.
So my next one is Morgan Williams. He's moved from Kings Lynn to Harrogate Town, and also another team as similar to Barrow that's come down from League Two. 21 years old. I'd argue he's coming off the back of his best season. 42 games, 6 goals, 6 assists from midfield. So 12 goal contributions. Not the worst numbers you're going to get there, but something he'll still be looking to improve in his games. He's now played 72 times at National League North and South level, so quite experienced at a level 2 seasons worth, and now making the step back up to the National League after making 7 appearances on loan at Woking in the 23-24 season without too much success there. AFC Wimbledon, he spent a lot of time, but he did only make 3 appearances over 2 seasons. A Wales international all the way up to under 19, so someone who's maybe not fulfilling their potential as much as people first expected, but is slowly making the way back up the pyramid. And I think this is a good move for him after being what you'd argue a bright spark in quite a poor Kings Lynn team. I think Mark agreed with me when I spoke to him off air about that one, about Kings Lynn being a poor side, but him being a bright spark. And I think for him, it's a chance now, as I said, coming off the back of his best season, a tidy midfielder, 12 goal contributions last season. He'll be looking probably to hit 15 goal contributions at a level above where he was last season. And I think if he does that, I think you can class it as a hit signing. But for Harrogate, I think they need a lot more to be competing towards the top of the season. There's nothing that's told me at the moment they will be right back up there and looking to bounce back straight away. But this signing, with the potential of a young 21-year-old who's had good experience in the National League North mainly, can he make that step up? Well, only time will tell. Dan, back to Carlisle, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, how did you guess? Harvey Bunker from Forest Green to Carlisle. I think this is one of the signings of the summer so far. I know on the previous one, I said still think Jack Nolan to Hartlepool's the standout one, but this one kind of came out the blue. Nobody kind of seen it coming. Obviously, it's a big relocation for him. He's been a first team regular at Forest Green the last few years. Fell out of favour last season. Even though he's a defensive minded, midfielder, he does have an eye for goal. I think he got 3 goals last season, 5 the season before, so he can chip in with goals when he needs to, but that's not his game. As I mentioned about Azeez earlier on, we've obviously got Callum Whelan, Harvey McAdam, Bunker now coming in with Azeez. Now I think we've got some real midfield options with a variety of, skills that can all complement each other. Jack Ellis can fill in there as well. And I think, like I said, that is a key area that we've struggled really, even when we're in League Two. League One midfield was a real area of weakness that we had, and we seem to be addressing that now. Why it took us so long, I'm not sure. That's maybe another podcast for another time, but we are addressing it, and that is, the big thing for me. And I always think you can tell a lot by what opposition, the fans of these previous clubs say, and everyone was saying in the comments they can't believe they let him go. I can't believe Forest Green let him go. And for us to get it over the line and get the deal done, I think that's a really huge deal for us. And I think he could, I wouldn't say single-handedly, but with the help of the Azeezes, the Whelans, the McAdams, that will solve our midfield options and make us a stronger, harder team to beat than we were last season. And I think that's why I'm such a big fan of this signing, because we've still got a long way to go in terms of we need centre halves, we need a goalkeeper, I think we need another striker, things like that. But I think now we can kind of say, right, midfield sorted, let's focus elsewhere. So big fan of this one. Mark, who's your next one?
Well, Scunthorpe fans, you ask for transfer updates, and you get 2-in-1 podcast. And this one is a good one. It's Luke Brennan, who's just joined Scunthorpe from Buxton. I had watched what he was doing at Buxton, being in the National League North. The Boxing Day game against Mac, he absolutely ran the show for Buxton. Very, very talented player. Over 40 league games, 15 goals, 11 assists. That is what you're getting. I mean, they're still only 24 as well, which it's all the time in the world, because Scunthorpe had a very big Callum Roberts size hole that they needed to fill. And trust me, they have got one of the best players out of the National League North to come and fill that hole. All I would say to Scunthorpe fans is do not compare him to the past. Callum Roberts, as we know, an exceptional player. Again, another one of my favourites. He's now moved back into the Football League, but now it's time for Luke Brennan to show what he can do. Don't compare him to anybody else. You've got Pat Jones there as well, ready to take on whatever it is on the left-hand side. Again, another National League North recruit from Chester. But Luke Brennan, you have got a very, very tidy winger there. He will get you the goals. He'll get you the assists. Very skillful. I mean, right-footed, but can play in the left, play in the right. Again, another player who gives you options. He was one of the best players in that National League North. I think quite possibly his magnum opus of the season was the 4-2 win against Scarborough in the playoffs, in the playoff quarterfinals, and because he was absolutely brilliant that night. Scunthorpe fans, you are in for a treat with this guy, but treat him as Luke Brennan. Just treat him as the player that he is, and you will reap the rewards from this fella because he is that good. Dan. Anybody?
Yeah, am I right in saying that's the end of our transfers?
I
So
believe it is.
that was our 10. I believe Craig's organised a little game for us that we're going to have a go at.
Beautiful. So this podcast has been looking more towards next season. I'd just like you all to cast your mind back to last season. And I'd like people, if they're listening in the car on the way to work, or just sitting at home on YouTube, probably in their pants because it's ridiculously hot, join in
On the
with this
floor.
game. Join in with this game as well. So we're going to play a game of higher and lower. So I'm going to give you a name and how many goals they scored last season to start. Okay, I'm going to give you a bit of a gimme to start as well. I'm nice like that. And then all you got to do is tell me higher or lower. Now, as I said off air to the lads, there is one equals in there. If you get the equals right, you get 5 points. If you get a standard higher or lower correct, it's 1 point. You only get one chance to use your equals. So let's start. Number one, nice and easy, is Ollie Pearce, 34 goals. So, did Danny Whitehall score more or less than Ollie Pearce? I'll fly around for this one because I think it's pretty obvious. Mark?
Lower, Bruce.
Dan?
Lower.
Louis?
Yeah, lower.
You're all correct. Surprise, surprise. Now, Danny Whitehall scored 18 goals. Did Aaron Blair score more or less than Danny Whitehall? Dan?
Oh, lower.
Mark?
Going to use this early. Equal.
And Louis?
Lower.
Aaron Blair scored 17 league goals. So Mark has used his equals early and he did not get it. Aaron Blair, 17. Will Harris, how many goals higher or lower than Aaron Blair's 17? Louis?
Higher.
Mark?
Higher.
Dan?
Higher.
Will Harris scored 22 league goals. Will Harris's 22, is that beaten by Josh Stone's? Mark?
Lower.
Dan?
Lower.
Louis?
Full house, lower.
You are all correct. 18 league goals. In our sixth place here, Jack Nolan, did he score more or less than 18 goals? Dan?
Lower.
Mark?
I think I know the real answer, but I'm going to have to say higher.
And Louis?
I think it's equals.
Jack Nolan scored 19. That's one more. So Mark got that correct.
Wow.
Louis has used his equal as well.
Wow.
Declan Howe, more or less than 19. Mark?
Lower.
Dan?
Lower.
Louis?
Yeah, full house, lower.
You are all correct. That's 13 league goals.
Right, we're
Mika
getting into the harder numbers now. We're getting into the harder
Mika
numbers.
Obirio, higher or lower than Declan Howe's 13? Louis?
I'm going to go lower just.
Dan?
There's a part of me that thinks it's 12, but I'm going to just play my equal because I think it might be 13. Equal.
And Mark?
Lower, but only just.
Declan Howe scored 13 and said Mika Obirio scored 14.
Oh.
Dan, pressure on you on this next one. Georgie Kelly, higher or lower than 14?
Lower.
Mark?
Oh, yeah, confident. Lower.
Louis?
Yeah, lower.
I love how everyone's backing me here.
It was, but it was 13. So not too much lower, just a 1. Bit of a gimme for you on this next one, I reckon. So we'll fly through. Manny D, higher or lower than 13?
Oh, I wonder.
Mark?
Higher.
Let me think. Oh, this is a very difficult one. I'm going to go higher, but only just.
Dan and Louis agreed.
Yeah, no surprise, higher.
Correct, 27. Matt Rush, higher or lower than 27? Louis?
Going to go lower.
Mark?
I'm going to go lower, but only by 2.
Don't need specifics. Dan,
Yeah, lower.
it is lower by 1,
Oh,
26. Gus Scott Morris, higher or lower than 26?
no.
Dan,
Lower.
Mark,
Lower.
Louis,
Yeah, it's around 17, and so it's lower.
it was 15, so lower. Abdul Malik, higher or lower than 15? Actually, don't worry, it's equals, and you all couldn't get your equals because you've all used it already. It's 15.
Yeah.
That's the equals. So, Zach Brunt, higher or lower than 15?
Higher.
Louis,
I'm going to go lower.
Mark,
Well, higher.
Dan.
Right, I'm going to just say this out loud. He got 40 goal contributions, so it's got to be higher. Otherwise, his assists must be ridiculous.
He got 17 league goals.
Yes.
He beat him by 2. Interestingly, as we go on to the final player, Danny's on 10, Mark is on 10, Louis is on 10.
Oh,
Zach
all to
Brunt,
play for.
17. Mark, I'm coming to you first. Kyle McAllister, higher or lower than 17?
You would pick him, wouldn't you?
That's what I'll come to you first.
Lower.
Louis,
Yeah, I agree. I think it's lower.
Danny, you're going to go against the grain.
I want to, but I don't think it is. I'm going lower. I want to just so I could have the chance of winning, but I'll end up losing, so I'm going lower.
You are all correct, so bear with me while I get a next player up.
Oh, Tom McKinday.
Well, we all know that. No, you know what? You know what? We've done many competitive things this year. Dan, you finish on 11 points. Mark, you finish on 11 points. Louis, you finish on 11 points. Congratulations on a three-way tie and boring everybody.
Oh,
I will
drawing
hand back to Dan now.
friends.
I'm just pleased I didn't lose because the competitor in me wanted to go different at the end there, but I just knew it was lower. I was like, and then I'd have ended up losing it. So
Let us
yeah,
know in the comments if you got the equals right.
yeah, because if you did, that was a good shout because there was a couple in there that were very close, weren't they? Like by one.
All
So
stats via telly score, by the way, so I apologise
yeah,
if they're wrong.
yeah. So don't come at Craig if he's got his stats wrong. And
No,
it
no, no.
was it.
We encourage it. We encourage it.
Yeah, go have a go, Craig, if
If
you
I
want.
find out they're wrong, you'll see the comments are disabled on the YouTube.
Don't
But
worry.
yeah,
We can fix that.
so we've got some exciting podcasts coming up over the next couple of weeks as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But thanks to Mark, Craig and Louis as always for joining me, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll try not to leave it as long next time before we do the next one, and we enjoyed the game as well, so if you want to see more of that, we can do more of that as well over the summer. Take care, we'll see you next time.